project has been an uphill battle, but I'm seeing the top of the mountain. Started out with hopes and dreams, and here we are. Built a custom car body, made a mold of it, and it seems like it's actually gonna work. Now, it's out with the old and in with the new. Now that we got the actual car body built, it's time to cut this whole sculpture model thing apart. My main problem is that Victor's become sentimental. He wants to try to maintain the original sculpture. Talking about a wall hanging or something, and I gotta try to cut this car apart in a way that it still looks like the car. Kind of a twofold approach here. Victor wants to save the original. I'm excited to get this new piece put on. First thing, I know we're saving the interior structure of the roof, so I'm gonna skin this windshield right off, get it out of the way, take this panel, and try to get the roof to open again. In looking at this, you know, there's a million ways to skin a cat. And this is the same thing I look at every car that I'm about to chop or modify in that, what's the simplest course of action? If this was a manufactured product, I would know where the parting lines could be, but this is really just a pile of stuff. So if I could keep the whole side of the car intact, then mission accomplished. The whole thing is how to detach it in one piece. This was pretty surprising. To part the whole side of the car off that efficiently, you could tell we didn't build it like a real vehicle. This is like perfect, man. I'm all jazzed up. The thing I'm excited about is instead of all this pile of stuff and my shirt and everything else, we'll have a nice fiberglass shell. This is a twofold victory. I'm really glad Victor gets what he wants, but I'm really glad to get this out of the way. The main reason in doing this, aside from sentiment, was that I retained all the mounting flanges around the roof that the new glass body will attach to, so it's really just about getting the vacuum out, getting the screw gun out, the sander, and just cleaning this whole thing so that that new body will go right on. Inspector, check it out, it works. So this car starts and stops, drives around like it used to. The whole thing through this process, I never told anybody, was I took all the computers out and I wasn't sure if it was gonna run again. So everything you asked for, at the airbags, all the things you requested be retained, power, side mirrors. I know it's always safety first with you. In my debriefing with the shop inspector, you know, he understands the magnitude of what I attempted here. And here it is, the car's running. I put all the stuff that I disconnected back in place, and the car is no wiser for it. So what do you think, man? I did it. I earned his freaking recognition. I got the approval of the shop inspector. I actually got a high five, that's a first. Enough computer lingo and sensor nonsense. We got to get this car assembled. So, got this body back from the fiberglass shop. Good call, one piece, it's perfect. Cut out the headlights, set up the parting lines, cut a couple access holes, and it's really like next level, super nice. One of the cool things they did when it was there, aside from making the one-piece body, they incorporated this whole engine bay area that I made out of aluminum and steel on the Porsche, and perfect call. I won't need any of the structure that was on the Porsche. Self-supporting, super rigid, super thin. And the thing about suspending it with this gantry is that I can raise it up and down, adjust its attitude however I need. It's gonna make creating the body mounts a lot simpler. Instead of having 5 guys trying to position it, it's hanging, can brace it off the car, build all the structure underneath. The thing is, this is what the whole project's been leading up to. The moment of truth is, does this new body actually fit the car? I'm thinking what the guys in the mold shop were telling me. There's shrinkage, there's stretchage, the mold could change shape. You know, an inch is a mile in car terms. This thing's been across town and back. Anything could have changed. I'm super excited to have this back, but Now the thing is suspended, and when you lower it, you're gonna know. That's the thing, drop the anchor, see if it sticks. Walking around looking at this, I mean, it fits perfect. It's like a giant model car. It looks great. This really thin fiberglass shell is actually giving us more room than I expected. Thing was, I needed to look inside there. So what I did was I made a template of my skull, and it allows me to look inside the car. Now I can access every angle of the vehicle. Thing is, it really helps to see around what you're trying to accomplish, you know? Small victories, the car body fits, how do you attach it? In making this one-piece body, it eliminated the ability to get into the trunk area in the front of the car. So I knew we were gonna need a hood opening somehow, and I really wanted to see like a one-piece fiberglass nose, just the complete front of the car flips off. The problem with the front end of this car is that equation won't work at all. You have this long jutting spoiler that's low to the ground, and if you tilt it inside the body, it's gonna hit the ground. The panel has to go up and over. So that's a little more complex of a hinge. The other thing I'm thinking about is trying to keep this nose as lightweight as possible. You know, with all that other stuff that was on here, I'm trying to lighten it up. So no more stock bumper, just this simple crossbar and then aluminum hinges to keep the thing as light as possible. Typical late night scenario. 3 a.m., you get an idea. And this is how we roll. It's hard to describe exactly what I was thinking at 2:30 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, but it was something like this. Your pivot point's here, and your air dam is here, and as it's turning, the air dam's gonna bang into the ground. So how do I get the air dam down here, so far away from the pivot point, to do that? And I started doing this, and you'll see, it'll translate a lot better in aluminum. Trying to keep the car as light as possible. I want to build this out of aluminum stock. I'm going to make it really big and heavy at first, prove that it works, and then drill holes, lighten it, polish it, whatever. So this end would typically do that, right? But now this end is going up and way out. This is what I was picturing, but the whole thing is it going to work in the confines of that car body? You know, you can make anything, but in the end, will it fly? In theory, a tabletop demonstration proves it should work. All I gotta do is put it in the car and see if it actually happens. So I got this body mounted. Cut a few access holes just so I could get in there and make sure everything was fastened. You know, these are the lines Victor and I established for the roof to open. The nose will part off here, the fender will move up, but the rocker panel always stays with the car. At this point, I have to cut this nose free, see if the hinges work before I can go forward on anything else. Cutting out this hood looks simple, but it's actually kind of techy. In other words, there's a lot of expensive Porsche underneath. You're going in with this big caveman saw blade. And the thing is, this is our end result body panel, so you want to stay on the line. You know, there should only be about a 3/8 inch gap in the panel, so crooked cut means crooked car. We don't want that. Now that this nose section is parted off from the body, the only thing to do is see if that hinge does what I am telling it to. It looks like it should just pop up. It's free, so exactly. Up. Yes, look at all that room. What's not to like about that? This is perfect. Big question in my mind was, when this hinge moves, was the panel going to clearly separate from the body, or was it going to scrub up against it? You know, my theory was that it would move forward and open. It does exactly that. I almost can't believe it. I surprised myself, or you could say purely lucked out. Now this reveals all the brain-gineering I've been doing underneath, all the envisioning. But in the end, I just took this big angle iron and glued it right to the fiberglass body. That's the thing about winging it. You never know till you try. That's the look I was going for. This is what the whole process has been leading up to. Check it out. What do you think? It works, right? Does it work for you? You want to see the roof, right? Even the shop inspector's impressed. Definitely feeling the vibe, but he's not going to be satisfied until the roof opens. The thing that differs in the roof and the hood is that this is laminated to the sterling roof. I knew that was going to come free. I don't know that this one's going to come free. Multiple layers. I might have overlapped. I got a lot of foam, a lot of glue. This one might not open, but I definitely saw it open. Same process as the nose section. I'm gonna part off this roof panel. You can get inside and lift it up. I used to get into a little 1 foot square box and be submerged underwater and escape. This is part of my training. So, in theory, this thing, does just what it used to do. The sterling roof is still in place. That worked out perfect. So, I mean, it looks completely different, but we're gonna retain the sterling inner structure, the window sill area. The A-pillars are gonna get cut out, but the hinges, the latch, the mechanism, the backing flange are all sterling. Victor got what he wanted. The finest point about this process is that Victor retains his roof in the car. It's forever entombed in this new project. So that's it. It works exactly like the sterling. I mean, it's still there. Victor gets what he wants. Easy in and out. And it looks cool. Oh, this looks way gnarlier than I thought it was gonna, because it's all concept up until this point. When you see freaking 6 foot long, 6 foot wide panels up in the air, it doesn't look like a car. It looks like a transformer when it's parked. That is cool. Victor wanted something like this, you know, from the start. That's what this is all led up to. I mean, that right there says Supercar. The next thing on my agenda is to get both the roof and the nose section motorized, so they raise up mechanically, touch of a button. I want to get this roof on a hydraulic system, just like the original, but updated. These are all the original hydraulic parts from the sterling. The problem with these is just old age. We all go through it. You can see all the hoses were cracking, leaks on every valve, and you know, in theory, this was a really good system, but they're just old. When this thing failed, you were locked in the car. If you remember, one of those windows in the sterling was punched out. I'm sure it's because somebody got stuck in the vehicle. God forbid something goes wrong. You gotta get out of the car, you know, that's your last resort. My idea is to use the same concept as the sterling. It's a hydraulic piston that pushes the roof open, but as a safety feature, there's not gonna be an eyelet on the end of this. These are just gonna be pushing on a pad. So if you have to open the roof to get somebody out in an emergency, you just lift the thing off of its perch. The idea is this unit will be up in the trunk space. That's why I got such long hoses and wires. And each cylinder will be fed via this T on the left and the right side. The idea for this system is that it's going to be a two-way ram. In other words, it's power open, power shut, nice solid up and down. So the whole concept is I want these cylinders to be free if you have to lift the roof up manually. They're going to sit in this little rubber cup and it'll be able to pivot, but it'll be set in the rocker panel here. I'll be able to put a screw into there to keep this thing from moving around. And then all this can get fiberglass in, so there's a nice little receiver with this rubber core. This is all up in the air. This is theory up until this point. Again, I've done my homework. I got my theorizing in place. You gotta flip the switch and see if it happens. It's like launching a model rocket. You need plenty of stand-back space in case something goes wrong. You got your two leads, Safety glasses. Are you ready, Captain? The thing is, this is like when you hotwire a car, right? There is no fuses, there's no nothing. It's a hot wire from the battery to the machine. It could get a little dicey. Totally works. That's exactly what I was going for. Smooth, controlled, no leaks. What do you think? It works so smooth, he doesn't even know what's happening. That's a good sign.
Ian, what's going on?
Victor's always had this ability to kind of show up right on cue. You know, it's like he's got a sense when something's happened that he needs to check out. We're rocking and rolling, man. This thing fit the car perfectly. Everything worked out fine.
That thing looks cool. So it fit on, no major adjustments or nothing?
Nope, fit right on the car. So everything is cool, and I just cut it back the way our three-piece design was. So the hood is separate from the roof, and the quarter panels are just like we created in the mold.
So the hood opens separately than from the top.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to show you. Check it out. Here, grab it in the headlight, just pull forward and up. So
Oh,
like
wow,
that.
that's crazy.
So look, I made all these aluminum hinges.
That's pretty cool. I was surprised to see the hood tilt up like that. That's a bonus. I wasn't thinking of this.
But the roof is all just like the Sterling, hydraulically operated.
And you know, that was the only task that I told you that I wanted to be exactly like the Sterling. That this hood, and I gotta show you again, go up, but it can't go like this. It's gotta go up like that. So
Oh,
if
it even
does
makes the sound.
I'm happy. That's incredible. Well, let's see this thing going.
Think through this whole project, Victor's one-track mind is, oh yeah, everything looks great. How's the roof? Does it work?
Hang on, I gotta film the first time this goes up. This is historical for me. You don't understand.
Bottom line, when his camera comes out, these are memories he's keeping. He's definitely excited. This is what he wanted to see.
Let's see. Hit it. Yeah, baby. Yeah, look at how smooth. That's it, man.
You could see in somebody's eyes when they're like, yeah, I'm charged up. Everything we've done is paying off right now. Everything's happening.
That's incredible. Hey, you did it, man. I don't know how you did it, but it's done.
Truth of the matter is, Victor thinks that it was only the roof that was going to be motorized, but it's a bit more than that. One more trick I wanted to show him was that the hood is motorized as well. This one's on electric actuators. So it's a little slower. It didn't need the power of hydraulics because it's a bit more lightweight.
That's pretty good. Seeing the roof and the hood, it just like re-energizes me to take this thing to really keep going on it. Well, I just asked for an opening top and I get a transformer.
It is a transformer.
My grandkids are gonna love me. I can't wait to see this thing done. This brought me back to that, come on, let's go, let's go. Luckily, I was my batteries are running down, like,
You
wow,
and me both,
man.
right?
I'm like, again, now it's like, wow.
I know Victor's got a lot of ideas bubbling up. I got ideas of my own. I'm excited to get them happen, and that's what's really gonna bring this thing to a close. Victor loved the concept of my hydraulic system. I got all the finalizing pieces to make it work, power up and power down. Victor wasn't kidding when he was re-energized on this project.
I took the whole dashboard out, so I brought my buddy Ish in and my other buddy Roger in.
Ish is an established professional interior guy. He's like a TV star and stuff. He's done a lot of high-end cars, like really expensive stuff, sports cars, top-notch work.
To me, I want this to feel like a supercar. You're in the seat in a cockpit of like a plane, so all the instrument panel gotta come to you, and that's what he's doing now.
That's just a mock-up. Once we lay the fiberglass, we're gonna body work it all around it, make shapes.
That's cool, man. Yeah, totally next level. Nothing looks like a Porsche now. In typical Victor style, he's not gonna let anything go unchanged. He's talking about some kind of cockpit, like airplane fighter style, split passenger compartment, crazy gauges. You know, it's all just theory. We'll see what comes out of the mix.
You know, I'll adjust it slightly, but right now it's looking pretty close.
What I'm seeing develop with the interior is very similar to my process. They're doing a series of paper mock-ups. They're getting their ideas formalized three-dimensionally, and then apparently they're just gonna fiberglass everything. You know, Ish, if you need me to do anything with the hydraulics, I'll be over on the table. If you need to fit it up, we could just plug it in. It's easy.
That's good, man. That's good.
I got plenty of stuff to do inside and under the car. I'm letting those guys go on to the interior.
And I know what we're supposed to do in like 3 months, I'm telling you to do in like a week and a half. Hey, dude, sorry.
Now, you know, good thing about it, Vic, is that I'm used to it. You know, most of the big companies now, they use lasers and cutting machines and all that new technology.
You see, my only laser is scissors and cardboard.
You know, old school, like, that's how we start. You know, this is what I like to do.
I'm glad Ish is on board because me and Ian, we're old school, like start from nothing and make it happen. And Ish, he's the same way. I don't know what issues you have on it, but hey, it's looking pretty good so far.
Believe me, this car is gonna look one of a kind.
All right, that's all I ask.
Believe me, I'll tell you this, if you take this car to any car show where it's gonna be nothing but exotics, believe me, this is gonna be caught more attention than any Lamborghini, any Ferrari. Why? Because it's one of a kind.
This guy's speaking my language. I can't wait to see this interior. So you have the starting point, then everything just gotta flow.
Exactly.
The thing about this concept is that the interior is pretty ambitious. I just hope this project doesn't become a runaway train. I thought we were onto the close, and he's opening up a whole new Pandora's box.